Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
This episode is brought to you by United Airlines. When you want to make the most of your vacation, book with United. They're an airline that cares about your travels as much as you do. United is transforming the flying experience with Bluetooth connectivity, screens, power at every seat, and bigger overhead bins to help fit everyone's bag. And with their app, you can skip the bag check line, get live updates, and more. Change the way you fly. Book your next trip today at united.com.
The state of Massachusetts wants your tax dollars. You see?
I understand.
Right. You were supposed to pay them when you bought it.
This is the plaintiff, Erica Lynn Nelson. She says she bought a camper from the defendant, and when she went to register it, the DMV told her the defendant never registered it in the first place and needed to before she can get the title. The stubborn woman refuses to register it. Now she wants to return it and get her $1,500 back, so she's suing. This is the defendant, Doris McCarthy. She says she told the plaintiff the camper was never on the road. It only sat in her yard, serving as an extra living space and sleeping quarters. 7 months later, she complained she couldn't register it and demanded she go to another state to the DMV almost 4 hours away that day. Bottom line, this is an as-is sale, and she was upfront with her about everything. She's accused of a camper calamity.
All parties, please do right now.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Nelson, you are suing Ms. McCarthy for the return of $1,500 for a camper that you bought from her, which, according to you, cannot be registered. What happened here?
So I purchased it from her on November 3rd of last year. Prior to that, I had gone to look at it, decided I wanted it.
Have you ever had a camper?
I have not. It was
Do you have a picture of it?
I do have a picture.
Did you submit it? Yeah,
I
okay.
did.
Give me 1 second. Is this the kind of camper that you have to tow? Is it
Yes,
great?
it's
Okay.
a pop-up camper.
Pop-up camper, okay.
Right there.
This is it. All right, so it's how long?
I'm not sure.
Can
the
you stand up in it?
dimensions. Yes.
You can stand up in a normal height. Well, you can, but
When
could
it's-
my 6'2" husband stand up in it?
When we open it, yes.
Okay. Oh, because the top is what pops up?
Yep, you roll it and it goes all the way up, and there's 2 beds on both sides. There's a little table with a little couch.
Okay. So tell me what happens. You look at it, you like it.
I like
What was your answer if you ever had a camper before?
I have not. This is my
All right,
first
but
camper.
like everybody else during the 2 years of COVID, you decided that you were taken to the open road in America.
Yes.
Tell me about it. So you buy it, and how much do you pay?
I paid $1,500 for it.
All right.
So when I went to look at it, we were unable to bring it home to tow it that day.
Had you tested everything before you decided whether you wanted to buy it?
I tested the hazard lights, made sure those were working, but as far as everything else, like
It wasn't hooked up, so you couldn't test. Okay.
But those worked. So
Right, but she was asking how much?
$1,900.
So that kind of takes into account, I have no idea if this stuff is working. All right, so you decide to buy it.
Yes.
You tow it where?
To my house in
Okay.
Dartmouth.
How far was that?
25 minutes.
And then you leave it there untouched for how long?
From November until June.
Why didn't you register it or attempt to register it before then?
Well, I knew that I wasn't using the camper during the winter, so I kind of just pushed it off. I didn't think I was going to have any issues. When I went to the registry, I thought it was going to be.
Sure.
So that's why I did that. And then when I ended up going in, they made me aware that she had never registered it to herself. So I legally could not do anything to the camper until she did that.
Right.
Which she then had to sign the title over to me, pay the taxes from the time she had the camper, and then I could take it from there.
Now, did you ever register the camper?
No, ma'am.
Campers require registration, right?
I understand that the basis of me even having the pop-up camper was I only used it for my son and my daughter when they came to visit. That camper never hit the road. It was only my backyard. And
I know that in your mind that means you don't have to register it, right? Because it's not on the road.
It never hit the road. It was only my backyard. I only used the beds.
When you register it, two things happen. You pay the state their taxes that they are expecting, and you're allowed to put it on the road, right? You skip the part about paying the state the taxes that they're owed. What is your defense? Is your defense, well, you know, she should have figured that out sooner. I mean, why am I getting this call 8 months later or whatever the heck it was?
Well, that too, but we also had many discussions about the fact that I never set up any utility. My intention was never to take this on the road to go camping. It was only, I lived in a one-bedroom home. I'm a single mother of 2 adult children. When they come to visit me out of state, COVID's going on. They didn't want to be in the same house. So I bought a pop-up camper, basically used each bed. That's all I used it for.
Right. But then you sold it. Like, if you just kept it that way, nobody would say, oh, here's a ticket because you have no registration, because you're right, you're not putting it on the road. The question becomes, can you sell it without having paid your own state sales tax when you bought it?
Again, she had 7 months to figure this out.
She did have 7 months, and that's why you do this right away. And maybe you just didn't want to go through the expense if you weren't going to use it, but that was very foolish on your part.
Yes.
Because if you have a defective title, you want to know right away. But the bottom line is still it's a defective title. So what's she supposed to do? She can't put it on the road. You knew very well that she wanted to put it on the road, and that if she complains now the sink doesn't work, which I think she did, she complains about stuff like that, you're right, she can't. That's as is. But the only exception to as is if you make a warranty, which you didn't, or if you're jumping title, if you don't have good title, because it is an item that needs titling. So part of the implicit warranty you're giving somebody is, here's the title. You'll be able to register it. If she can't register it, she can't move it.
That conversation never even came up about
No, that's the law is what I mean. That's the law.
In my mind, I had a clean title, and that's
all right. But now I'm here to inform you that you didn't, because that's called jumping title.
Okay.
And here's why: because the state of Massachusetts wants your tax dollars. You see?
I understand.
You were supposed to pay them when you bought it, because if the title's not in your name, you can't sell it. That's really what I'm trying to say. The title is actually in another person's name. You get it? All you did was sign it. You can't do that. You're not authorized to sell it if your name isn't on the title. So now what are we going to do about it? You had bought that because you wanted to take a trip that summer, which is over.
Yes, I have kids, so they were excited. And again, it's my fault for waiting last minute. When I reached out to her, I never asked her to go that day. I said, you know, I realize it's close to my camping date. I'll have to cancel it. Can you go when you're able to? Is what I said.
By then, you had already moved somewhere else?
No, the situation was I had moved back to my home state. I had to move out of the house. The reason why I was selling everything was because the house was up for sale during the crazy real estate market. It sold super quick, so I had to move my belongings out.
Where did you move to?
To New Hampshire. Came back to Massachusetts. This is 7 months after, so it's June 24th. It's also the weekend of my son's 30th birthday. We're having a big family party. Haven't seen everybody in years, and I get this text message about something that occurred 7 months ago.
Okay, so you were back in Massachusetts. Why didn't you, just as a human being, why didn't you just try to help her get...
I did. I mean, if you read the text message that she sent me, right away, I sent a picture of my license. I gave her my date of birth.
Yeah, she can't get it solved. You've got to get it solved.
Well, that was the first question that she asked, was if you send me this information, that would be really helpful. So right away, I did. I mean, I have 30 people at my house. We're trying to have a party.
Good morning. Sorry to bother you. I'm trying to title and register the camper to myself, and I'm unable to do so. The registry is saying, because you were physically at the registry, right?
I went twice.
Saying that you need to fill out the Massachusetts registration and title application. There is legally nothing I can do with this camper if not, and I actually have a camping trip booked for next weekend. Can you please give me a call as soon as you get a chance? Thank you. Hello, I gave you the title. I never registered it due to never driving it anywhere, so not sure. I went with that title, but they wouldn't allow me to do anything because it was never signed over to me. I understand that neither of you realized what was happening. Nobody was trying to pull one over on anybody else here. I get it. Does someone have the title?
I have the title.
Let me see the title a second. Okay. This is in the name of the person who sold it to you.
Correct.
Right. May of 2019. So Charles signs it over to you, and then you never register it.
Correct.
I'm filling out an application myself, trying to figure it out, but they're asking for a lot. Are you able to give me your license number and date of expiration? It's asking for it on the form. I'm going to try going with everything that I have filled out again, and hopefully they accept it. And she says, because you went a second time, or is this the same day?
I went a second time.
All right, just went to the registry for the second time with everything I possibly could. I can't do anything with the camper until you get the title in your name, which you then can sign it over to me and I can register it. You also have to pay the sales tax for the past 3 years, he said. This is what you have to fill out and go to the registry with. When you get the title in the mail, that's when I can come to switch it over to me. I can't do anything with the camper until then. That's 100% correct, everything she just said. Well, I can't do anything this weekend.
I meant to write the
Weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't understand why just dealing with this now. Fair question. I never put the camper on the road, as I stated several times. It was just used for extra visitors. I also wasn't using it over the winter. That's true. So I pushed off going to the registry. It doesn't matter what the camper's used for. It has to be registered under your name before I can legally do anything with it. If you can please at some point in the next month or so, let me know when the title comes in, then I can take it over from there. Thank you. Hi, just wanted to check in and see if you've been able to do anything with the camper. Hello? And you drop off the face of the earth because now you've been informed that you're going to have to pay sales tax, which you didn't want to do, right?
Honestly,
Okay, you can't sell it. You can't sell something that's a titled item unless it's titled in your name.
Okay,
that's
but
the law.
I wish this would have all happened like within a month.
I agree, but it doesn't change the law or my ruling, but I agree. Who's the young lady with you?
That's just my best friend.
Okay, your best friend. All right. Moral support?
Yes.
Wonderful. Were you going on the camping trip?
I was planning on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see? See all the people you disappointed?
Yeah.
All right. Have you fixed up the camper?
I have not. So we opened it, we took a look into everything, and I understand I bought it as is, but with everything that went on, like, I was not aware that the sink leaks. So
No, there's none so blind as she who will not see. You would have to hook it up to find out.
So the sink...
So you didn't hook it up till when? 8 months after you bought it?
Yes.
Yeah, you're supposed to do that kind of thing like before you buy it, if that's really important to you. If not, then you haggle, and then you go, got a great deal, and I know I'm going to have to put money into it.
ABC Wednesdays.
Y'all complain all day. We want books. We want paper towels in the classroom. Bet you want raises, too.
I'm still waiting on the paper towels.
Abbott Elementary returns with a new season.
We asked the district for more after-school programs. They gave us $50 for class pets instead.
Critics cheer. Abbott Elementary continues to be one of the funniest and most beloved shows on TV.
What y'all doing out there?
Taking bribes.
Proud of y'all.
Abbott Elementary, Wednesdays, 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
The holiday season officially starts when you get that first card in the mail. Shutterfly makes it easy to add more meaning to the everyday with hundreds of holiday card designs that can be personalized in seconds with your favorite photos from this year. Select your greeting, customize the color, and even add little extras like personalized foil to make a holiday card that really shines. Enjoy 40% off with code SMILE40 at Shutterfly.com and send something meaningful this year. See site for more details.
Ms. McCarthy, however, the law is the law is the law, and you cannot sell an item in the state of Massachusetts that you have not registered. An item that is that requires registry, you can't sell it unless it's registered in your name. That's called jumping title. You cannot do that. And the reason why is because Massachusetts wants their cut. And so you can't sell this. That is it's as is in every respect except for that there's a title that can be registered. That is a specific warranty when you're handing somebody a title. So,
okay. So I just have a question. As far as obviously you're trying to make this right so she can go camping. I understand that. That's why she bought it. Okay. So if I go to the DMV, what am I supposed to do?
If you go to the DMV, they're going to charge you the sales tax that you didn't pay that you're supposed to pay.
So am I going in like blind? What am I bringing?
So now what do we do though?
So
how do we solve
this? I'm asking you, how do I go to the register? And I'm just speaking. I don't have a title.
I don't know how much they'll charge you, but you would have to pay.
Oh, I'm sure they're going to charge me a lot of money.
Right.
It's Massachusetts. I pay a lot of taxes already.
See, the problem that we're having is you want to go camping and you can't go camping.
Yes.
And I think you're a reasonable person and you would like to figure out what can be done to make this sale whole and she can go camping and you're not out money.
Correct.
Right. What has to happen is that you have to go to the DMV and you have to register it in your name, and then you'll have to pay the taxes. It's not as much as you think. It's probably going to be a couple of $100, which is a lot less than $1,500, having to return to her the $1,500 and have the headache of this thing. So if you do that, then you will have done what you're supposed to have done. And then the title will come in your name, and then you will get the title to her, and then you can register the camper, and then we can all go camping. That is a much better solution, right?
Yes.
Let's do that. Would you both like to settle the case that way? Plaintiff?
Yes.
Defendant?
Yes, please.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Send me pictures when you're camping and make sure you take her because you rooked her out of a camping trip by waiting so long. That's my verdict. Thank you, ladies. Good luck.
So an interesting agreement has been worked out by the judge in this case. The plaintiff's not going to get her money back, but she is going to get a title for the trailer that she's seeking. Let's see how she feels about it. First off, Ms. McCarthy is the defendant. Ms. McCarthy, the judge says you're going to have to register this trailer and then give her the title so that she can go on a camping trip. And that's what you're going to do, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
So you don't have to give the $1,500 back.
Right.
And it may cost you a couple $100, maybe at the most in sales tax.
Yes, sir.
But it'll then be legal.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
And are you satisfied with that?
Sure.
Okay, well, good for you. Okay, so it's an amicable agreement. Good enough. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, well, let's see now what Ms. Nelson has to say. She came in suing for $1,500, but now she's going to get the title, hopefully, and she'll be able to go camping. You okay with this, Ms. Nelson?
I am. All I wanted was a camper that I could actually use and not just sit in my driveway, so.
So, all right, so if you're okay with it, then that's a great way to work it, and hopefully next summer you'll be able to go on a camping trip, okay?
I hope so.
Good enough. Well, congratulations, and it's a great way to work out the case. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Harvey, doesn't often happen like that, but there's an interesting twist in this case. What's your perspective?
So, Doug, when you go to court, what do you expect is a judgment? In this case, the judge figured out how to do a settlement. That doesn't happen in a lot of courts, but in small claims court, the end game is to do justice. And sometimes when you can work with both parties, come up with a mutually agreeable settlement, that's called a win.
I found unclaimed money from my dead father. There were 3 beneficiaries listed, but only 2 of us were notified. Do I have to split it with the 3rd sibling? Good Lord.
Well, do you want to have domestic tranquility in the family? I mean,
and not get arrested?
Yeah, and not get in trouble.
For theft?
Morally, yes, you have to. And legally,
yes, you have to.
You have to.
Of course you have to.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That's their money as well.
That's not your money to keep. That's money that your dead father...
That question doesn't even need asking.
That question doesn't need asking. That's, yes, but you have to share it with exactly who your father intended to give it to.
Right.
In the exact proportions that your father intended it to be given.
Absolutely. So be a good sibling and share the money. You know, the only situation I could think of where you wouldn't be obligated to share that money would be if that sibling had killed your father and maybe was barred by state law from collecting or something. A judge would
still have to be ruling on that, not just you.
Yeah,
you know?
You're right. You need a judge's ruling.
A probate court ruling or something. You can't just snake it to the left, and not tell anybody.
Doesn't sound like this person killed the father or whatever. So just hand over the money and share and be a good brother and sister.
And don't be a thief.
This is the plaintiff, Marlene Vertus. She says the defendant asked her to be one of her bridesmaids, and she spent money on the dress and contributed to the bachelorette party. Then the defendant abruptly told her she no longer wanted her as one of her bridesmaids, and now refuses to reimburse her for the money she already spent. Some people. She's suing for $476, the amount she wasted. This is the defendant, Marlene Raymond. She says the plaintiff didn't follow her rules for being a bridesmaid, like showing up for fittings and appointments and being on time. She can't understand why the plaintiff is suing her for the bridesmaid dress when she never even picked it up. The defendant says this whole thing has put a real damper on their friendship. and she doesn't feel she owes the plaintiff a thing. She's accused of causing some wedding day blues.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says she was asked to be a bridesmaid by the defendant, bought a dress, but was kicked out of the wedding, and now she wants her money back for the dress. The defendant says the plaintiff didn't follow her rules for being a bridesmaid, so she disinvited her and owes nothing. It's the case of missing the Markle.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Verdes, you are suing your former friend, Ms. Raymond, for $476 that you say she owes you and refuses to repay. Tell me what happened.
Yes. On December 7th, 2019, I was asked to be a bridesmaid at Orlane and Jerry's wedding. I, of course, accepted.
How did you two know each other?
We've known each other for years. Started out with the National Guard. We were in the National Guard for a little bit together. And then after that, college. And then after college as well, we kept in contact.
All right, so go on.
And so planning started around September 2020. And that's when I was asked to make a payment of about $200 for the dress as well as the petticoat. And then after that, there were other expenses such as hair, trips, makeup deposits, all of those money were sent over under the pretense that I was going to be a bridesmaid.
So there's $200 for the bridesmaid's dress, $126 for an Airbnb reservation. Was that for just because of the wedding, or did that have something to do with the bridal party?
It was specifically for the bridal party.
Okay. And then $150 for a bachelorette party trip. Tell me about that.
Yes. So I was unable to make the trip at the time they were planning it. So then, what the maid of honors came up with, if you're not going to attend, then, this is how much you can contribute in order to offset Orlane's contributions as well, because this was her trip and all of us were contributing.
Okay. Who's us? Is that everybody invited to the bachelorette party or the bridesmaids?
The bridesmaids, the maid of honors, it was a bridal party from my understanding.
So just the bridal party was at the bachelorette party?
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so.
All right, so what happens?
After, I believe it was July 21st, where Orlane sent me a text message and basically told me I was no longer a part of the bridal party.
Right, but did you ask her why? Like, this is a weird text.
The message that she sent was extremely vague. She made assumptions about things that had been going on in my life. There were no questions asked. And so I really didn't want to stress her out even more. So I kind of said, okay. And then it wasn't until after the wedding took place that I kind of addressed the whole situation regarding the deposit.
Now, I don't understand people. If I was a bridesmaid and some bride sent me a text that said you're no longer a bridesmaid, I'd be picking up the phone and saying, what the hell? Right. Like, what happened? If you're close enough to be a bridesmaid, you're close enough to pick up the phone and say, and why are you texting her that she's no longer a bridesmaid? What is it that happened, Ms. Raymond?
So, Your Honor, Marlene did not come to anything. For rehearsals, like before I proposed to my entire bridal party, we bought gifts, we brought them to a restaurant, we gave them mini scrolls, we just tried to make it feel special for them. And I'm very particular in the sense of I send dates, deadlines, times, like I'm all
dates,
about that
deadlines, times
aspect.
for what? Because rehearsals don't happen a year beforehand, so I'm trying to...
No, the rehearsals started in June.
When was the wedding in 2021?
September 5th.
Okay, what is it you have to rehearse from June to September? I'm kind of curious.
I had a wedding party of 50 people.
50?
50, yes, Your Honor.
You had 50 bridesmaids and groomsmen?
I had an Old English theme. So it was princesses, princes, kings, queens, flower maidens, handmaidens, bridesmaids, just a list of different hierarchical
Okay. All right. So you are exclusively requested to be a patio maid. Agreeing to such position requires both financial and mental support. Failure to abide by the rules set forth will result in a violation of Article 9, Chapter 5.21. The penalties can include a fine of $100, banishment from the empire, and death. All right, so talk to me. Obviously, this was kind of a joke, but what made you tell her you're no longer my bridesmaid?
It started in November 2020. We were setting up dates for the bridal party's dresses, and I was texting
You mean for fittings?
her. Yeah, just to pick out for fittings.
Okay.
So I was texting her, calling her, nothing. And I got upset, and I sent a text message to my bridal party. I'm like, hey, I don't think I want Marlene in the wedding anymore. Like, I've been trying to get in contact with her. So I reached out to Marlene again, and like after, I want to say a week or two, she responded and say, hey, I've been having issues with my phone, and for some reason I'm not getting notifications on my phone. I'm like, okay, Mel, but like you have to learn how to communicate because there's like a lot of information.
Did you ever call her or no?
I did call her.
And she didn't. And did you leave messages?
No, I did not leave messages.
Yeah, your generation just doesn't. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Yeah, like if only they would invent a way where we could speak simultaneously rather than send each other messages that we have to wait for an answer.
And Your Honor,
yeah, you didn't buy that she was having phone problems. You just thought she was just not into it.
Not responding.
Right.
She has her read receipts on too, Your Honor.
Oh, my goodness. So you could see that she read it?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody
out there within the sound of my voice, if you have read receipts on, you best be responding to your messages. Wow. Okay. So you could tell she was reading it and just not answering you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So then she writes back or texts back or something and says, I'm sorry, I've had phone problems. And then what happened?
She told me to calm down because, again, I'm all about dates and things, and when things aren't going a certain way, I start to freak out. So she's like, Marlene, calm down. Like, I'm sorry.
Nothing gets me to calm down more when I'm nervous than someone telling me to calm down.
Doesn't work.
No.
I didn't tell you to calm down, Your Honor.
I told her, okay, fine. Like, here's what we're going to be doing for makeup. Here's the dates that we're going to have the fitting.
Right, but she did send the payments in. So what else was the problem?
She didn't show up to anything. So there was a mandatory bridal party meeting where we did everything that we needed to do financially. So we did a whole PowerPoint.
Okay, and she didn't attend that?
She didn't attend that.
And she didn't attend that, why? What reason did she give you?
She said that she wasn't going to be in town. She was going to be in Florida.
Okay, so then what else didn't she do?
She didn't attend. So we had a green shower. So she's suing me for $150.
What's a green shower?
So a green shower is like a wedding shower, but because my husband and I, we bought our home in early 2020, it's fully furnished. We didn't want people giving us gifts of like things that would bring into our home, so we just said cash only.
That kind of green. I thought it was sustainability green. All right, so real green. All right, so you did a green shower and?
Yes, and the bridal party came, they set it up. It was a surprise to me. I was told that Marlene did not show to help out for that.
Okay, did she show for the party?
She showed for the party.
All right, so go on.
And then we had mandatory rehearsals. I texted Marlene. I called her.
What were you rehearsing? Just walking in, or is there a big dance, or what?
How to walk in, a dance, like.
There was a dance. So they had to learn the dance, and okay.
They had to learn the dance, how to walk in. There was a special way of walking in, not your traditional walk in.
That's what I'm asking. And how did you have them walk in?
Okay, so there was like steps to it, and so they would step, come apart, do a little twirl. The guy would bow and kiss the girl's arm. The girl would go around.
Gotcha.
And they would come together, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, and did she not, so she didn't go to the one in June?
She didn't go to any rehearsals.
Okay, and did she give you a reason for not going to rehearsals?
So the last rehearsal before I sent that text message, she said, I'm sorry I didn't overnight. But she sent it at the time of the rehearsal.
Yeah. What's an overnight, Ms. Verdes?
She worked overnight.
At the time, Your Honor, I was working multiple jobs, and one of them was an overnight shift.
But so did you miss every rehearsal?
Your Honor, I was notified of only one rehearsal, Your Honor, and I actually texted her and I told her, because I was driving, that I'm actually on my way. And then she sent out a text message saying, if you're not here by now, then out of respect for me, then don't show up.
And how were people notified of the rehearsal?
We have a group chat that I'm blowing up. We were texting and texting and texting, and I was like, everybody has to thumbs up this. And like anybody who didn't, I would reach out to them separately. And I made
So she knew.
So I live.
All right,
yes.
So here's where we are. You have a situation where you're not feeling the love and you don't want her to be your bridesmaid. And, you know, it's your wedding. You can decide whatever you want. The issue I now have is she's out a certain amount of money because she was supposed to be a bridesmaid, and then you decided that she wouldn't be a bridesmaid.
Your Honor, her dress got delivered late February at my house. I texted Marlene March 28th saying, by the way, your dress is here. Never picked up the dress, Your Honor.
No, I know.
Never picked up the dress, no fitting, nothing. Dress is still here.
Yeah, but why do you text her? Why don't you just pick up the phone and call her and tell her, hey, you're slacking on the job. Do you not want to do this? Like, how come you guys don't just communicate?
This is not the first time where I was like, okay, Mel, we have to communicate. Like, it's not that, oh, we're talking only about the wedding. Like, me and Mel, we had a friendship. So we would be FaceTiming and calling about other things too. And I would bring up the wedding, like, hey, Mel, like, make sure like you're on it. Like, you have to be communicating and let me know these things in advance because I'm actually spending money on food. Like that morning, I was so upset, Your Honor, because I went out there and made a whole brunch breakfast, prepared it and literally catered to them. And the night before, I was like, make sure you guys are on time. You need to be on time because once one person's there, their partner can't practice.
Right.
And like, it was the time of the rehearsal. You're going to tell me that you had an overnight. Like you could have communicated that beforehand.
Yeah, I have no issue with your decision. It's your decision. No one can have an issue with your decision. And I hear the things you're saying. The only issue is, does she then get money that she invested because she was supposed to be a bridesmaid back? That's the issue. And you seem to be under the impression that if she breaches her responsibilities, then she knew she'd be fired, and so this is on her. I think that's your...
No, Your Honor. So the dress, she could have picked up and returned. She never picked it up.
She can't pick it up and return it now, right? Did someone else wear it?
No, Your Honor. The dress is still here.
And why do you say someone else wore it, Ms. Burtis?
Because I was at the wedding, Your Honor.
Yeah, but how do you know that's your dress?
Because when I was doing the fitting with the other girls, the person that wore the dress at the wedding, she wasn't there. She wasn't a bridesmaid originally.
Did that person get their own dress?
Yes, Your Honor.
So she didn't wear that dress?
No, Your Honor.
Is it still, is the plaintiff's dress still in the hermetically sealed plastic?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes,
so it hasn't been opened?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I would just like to point out the fact that the $150 for the bachelorette, that was a surprise to me. I didn't know about the money until Mel sent me that statement in the mail. Like, that was a whole surprise. I'm like, what is she talking about, the $150? I reached out to my maid of honors, and they were like, yeah, here are the people that donated to your bachelorette.
At that point, had your bachelorette had already happened, because at that point, you had already been married, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. What about the Airbnb reservation?
So the Airbnb, I was throwing a party at the Airbnb the night before the wedding.
Well, why wouldn't she get that back if you fired her from the wedding party?
I split the cost. So it was for the bridal party.
Yes, I know. And then you told her you can't use the Airbnb you paid for.
I did not tell her that.
Well, yeah, you fired her. It's for the bridal party, and you told her she wasn't a bridesmaid anymore.
That's what I'm trying to explain. It wasn't exclusively for the bridal party, Your Honor. The bridal party could stay there, but it was for a party for people who are coming the night before for the wedding.
I'm sorry. It's an Airbnb. It's a place to sleep. And she's not welcome to sleep there because she's not part of the bridal party. Are there any texts between the two of you regarding the dress?
Yes, they are, Your Honor. So Mel reached out. She said that if she could return the dress and get a refund. I said, yes, she can. And so why don't you then go, I see those texts where you go back and forth on the topic. Why don't you just go pick up the dress and return it?
That was always a scheduling issue, Your Honor.
With who?
And with Werlane, so much so that I actually texted Jerry, which is her husband, and I didn't get a response regarding the dress. So I would check in periodically. Are you home? When can I pick up the dress?
And what? And they wouldn't answer you? Or they would answer you and then you wouldn't go. Which is it?
There was never a good time for me to go and pick it up. So I would ask.
I don't know why there's a, listen. How many people were invited to this wedding, Ms. Raymond?
260 people.
So it was going to be a good party where a lot of people from college were going to be there. It was going to be a lot of fun. And you found the time to go to the wedding, but you can't find the time to go to rehearsal. You can't find the time to pick up the dress. I mean,
it wasn't my schedule, Your Honor.
Why didn't you just mail the dress to her?
Your Honor, I honestly, I did not think of that, one. And even with that question, really was never able to answer text messages.
Okay, in March, there is discussion that it's at your house. September 1st, 4 days before the wedding. Hey, you're going to be home tomorrow morning? Can I swing by and pick up the dress? Hey, girl, received your letter. Thought we were close enough to discuss via phone instead of getting an invoice. So you fired her by text as a bridesmaid, but you're offended that she sends you an invoice by letter.
So the text messages were really July 21st, Your Honor. She says, I'll pick up the dress either this weekend or next so I can return it. Let me know what day works for you. I said, next weekend is better. She said, is it refundable, right? Do you know? I said, it should be. The package hasn't been opened. She had not responded until that September 1st date.
What happened between those two dates, Ms. Verdes?
I was actually waiting for her to tell me what day next weekend.
Okay, I know, but what did you do to get, you know what, we're done. All right, regarding the bridesmaid's dress, Ms. Raymond, we're gonna make arrangements for you to mail that through Officer McIntosh for you to mail an unopened bridesmaid's dress. Let me recommend that you take video and pictures that prove that it's unopened, okay? Before you mail it, all right? Because if it is open, then she can't return it. And then I have to reconsider my ruling, but I'm basing it on your word that it is unopened. Regarding the Airbnb reservation, I don't think that anybody in their right mind would think that they are able to stay with the wedding party when they've been fired as a bridesmaid. So I think that she should get that back. And I am going to order a judgment in her favor in the amount of the $126. Regarding the bachelorette party, that's a contribution to a party that I'm sure people other than the bridesmaids were attending. And if you can't attend it, you can't attend it. But from the beginning, you couldn't attend the bachelorette party. You don't attend the rehearsals. You don't attend. I mean, I happen to think that Ms. Raymond is rather demanding, okay? But by the same token, there is a minimum standard to a bridesmaid on what they have to do. And if you're too busy to show up on time and too busy, I'm kind of not surprised that, especially in a case like this, you know her. You know the extravaganza she was putting on. It's her wedding. It's her way. And that's what she wanted. And so she has a right to say, you know what, this isn't working out. But I also think that Ms. Verdes has a right to the Airbnb money back and the dress that she paid for. That's not the bachelorette party. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So the judge orders the plaintiff to get $126. The dress has to go back. Do you think the store will take it back? It's been a year.
Not necessarily take it back, but as long as I can sell it as new, then I'm perfectly fine with that. I have no problem.
Oh, you would do that? Oh, that's interesting. All right. Let me ask you something else. What was it like to go to the wedding having been disinvited to be a bridesmaid? What was that like? I'm surprised you went.
I'm surprised I went too, to be honest, but I figured this was my friend. They were both my friends, so I just wanted to be there and support them. But it was tense, if I'm being honest.
And how about your friendship now? Do you still have a friendship with Ms. Raymond, or is it kind of over?
We're not in communication, so I would say it's over.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. All right. Well, I guess you did the right thing by filing the lawsuit to get what money you did back. And good luck with the dress. Ms. Raymond, let me ask you something. The one thing we didn't hear about was, number one, how was the wedding?
It was amazing. I had a good time. I think everybody had a good time.
All right. You're not upset that the friendship is over, I guess, at this point, are you?
I'm not. Just because I felt like it escalated. I mean, again, if I'm your friend, I text you like, hey, I don't want you in the wedding. Wouldn't you call me? Wouldn't you say what's up? Like, it was just as if like the whole time she just didn't care about anything. So why should I care?
Okay, very good. All right.
So, Doug, this is an interesting case. When a bride asks a bridesmaid to be in the wedding and go buy a dress, it's not technically a contract, but it can be interpreted that way, and that is the case here. Basically, you have a situation where the bridesmaid is saying, look, I relied on her. I went out and bought a dress, and now I can't be in her wedding. I want my money back. But the reality is the bridesmaid breached the contract by not showing up for the rehearsal, so the bride had every right to say, you're out of the wedding, and I'm not going to pay you for that dress.
Did you ever have second thoughts about your legal career while you were in law school? And if so, what other fields were you considering?
I didn't always know I wanted to be a lawyer. When I was in college, I thought I was going to be, well, I was a psychology major, and I thought I would be a therapist.
Right.
But I quickly realized that I'm a much better talker than I am a listener, and which is a really bad trait for a judge. But
no.
And I decided on law school. Once I decided on law school, I loved law school. Unlike a lot of other people, I really loved.
So you weren't like me. You weren't riddled with self-doubt when you were in law school.
No. Well, everybody has imposter syndrome when you get to graduate school. You're like, how did I get here?
It was some kind of accident that they let you in.
Yes, it's a total fluke. But no, I loved it. I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Right. Well, the funny thing is, when I was in law school, I did think for a little while that I might pursue a different career. You know, my mom and dad were both police officers, so I thought about becoming an FBI agent, and actually went as far as...
you reek FBI agent. That would have been a perfect job for you.
Thanks for watching. Have a good one.